Hi, I'm Chad Walquist. I'm an architect at Palantir. Today I've got Xander, who's a tech lead on our pipeline builder team. So thanks for joining me.
Thanks very much for having me, Chad.
There's a lot of exciting new stuff in pipeline builder, but maybe real quick, just like what is pipeline builder for the uninitiated?
Yeah, so Pipeline Builder is a sort of no-code tool that we use for building pipelines across the platform. This allows users with sort of any level of skill to start bringing in data from across the platform and integrating that into ontology.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, especially like I've been building pipelines for 15 plus years now. Gosh, I'm getting old. But the idea is, actually like one of my favorite things is pipeline builder, even though I've built pipelines by hand, the fact that I can actually quickly build out these pipelines in a very robust, scalable way. But then also if I need to exit to a UDF or some sort of other component, like I have that flexibility in the tool, which is cool. But I think what we're going to talk about today is really some of the new features around lightweight transforms. So maybe we can jump into that and actually just kind of look. So like we've talked about lightweight transforms before, kind of be able to run different compute engines, but in the context of pipeline builder, what does that mean here?
Right. So exactly. So in Pipeline Builder, what that means is that we've moved away from a world where we can only execute batch pipelines on Spark. So these are these sort of big distributed workloads, ideal for enormous scale data. We've implemented a whole new backend for Pipeline Builder, which uses a technology called Data Fusion, which is a sort of open source Apache project, which executes on a single node. And it does so in an incredibly sort of resource efficient way and really quickly as well. So we've been working on this for sort of the last 18 to 24 months nearly. And we're super excited to show you today.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Yeah, super. So as you can see, we're in Pipeline Builder, and we're in a traditional Spark pipeline. We're just doing a bit of data integration here. So starting at the left-hand side, and we're going to join together a few data sets and normalize some columns, do a bit of string cleaning, and then write that to the output. And so just to give you an idea of what some of the scale looks like here, we've got sort of 77 million rows here. We've got 20 million rows, and then 200,000 rows here. And so we're down, we've got 2 inner joins. We should get a lot of matches. So we're processing in total quite a lot of data here. And just to show you what that looks like on our output data set, we can go have a look at a build that I've just run. It's taking about 9 minutes there to run in total. And to give you an idea of the kind of resources that we're using, we're actually using a medium profile. And so that's using 16 executors. We get good parallelism on this pipeline, so we use all 16 executors. Each of those is at about 6 gigabytes of RAM, and we've got another 6 gigabytes of memory on the driver as well. So we're looking north of 100 gig of memory across the whole Spark module, and then we've got 2 CPUs for every executor and another CPU for the driver as well. So I want to show you that because as we convert it over, I want to show you that we can not only do quicker with lightweight, but also using fewer resources as well, which is pretty nice.
Awesome.
So
how do we convert it?
Yeah, so let's go ahead and convert it. And this is where, we think adoption should be super high because it's literally one click. So we go ahead and we click convert to lightweight pipeline. We get a green tick here. The reason for that is that we can't convert all pipelines yet. We have very high coverage across the suite of stuff that is supported, but not everything is yet. So if anything's not supported here, you'll get an error. We'll show you that in a bit as to what that looks like. You can go and fix things up and then convert afterwards. But let's just click convert, and that's it. We're done. So in the left-hand side here, we now see that we're in lightweight. We've converted it, and we can now go ahead and deploy. So if we head over to our deploy panel, I'm just going to pick a profile that sort of matches. Well, at least we've got 8 cores here, and I'm going to pick 60 gig of memory. And
so it's a fourth the number of CPUs and about half as much memory.
Right. So let's just apply that. We'll save, and then we'll get that deployed, and we'll start a build there as well.
Okay.
And so straight away, that's going to kick off. One thing that we'll notice as well, as if we go over to the build report, is that because we're using lightweight containers here, the time that it took to initialize that application is about 7 seconds, right? So this is incredibly quick compared to spinning up a Spark module, which means you have to start a JVM, we have to download jars, and there's a lot of initialization time even for the Spark context. We're already running, and we're less than 20 seconds into the build.
That's very cool. From a developer experience, I think this helps a lot too, because now I can iterate on it, even if I'm with a subset of data or I'm just trying to run something to get feedback, test out something like, so the development cycles also are going to accelerate, not just the build runtime for the production and cost reduction. This has actually helped me as a developer too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll also notice when it comes to sort of development experience as well, is that whenever we're using preview's a great feature of Pipeline Builder, but we're actually running preview against lightweight as well. And
well, yeah, that's really snappy. So you're actually seeing the previewed transforms up to that stage of the pipeline.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's running against lightweight. So that's super quick.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that is very quick.
Which
I didn't know that.
As you're iterating, this makes things super nice to work with.
Yeah. So, okay, so that's going to run for a while. I guess also we're going to see how long that runs here in a minute. In the meantime, also, you said not everything's like supported. Is there a way we can see kind of like, what does that look like? Or like, what are situations where we might need to adapt?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So let me send you over to a pipeline, a slightly different pipeline here, but sort of very, very similar operations going on. And here, if I go over to settings and then convert, we'll see here that there's something there's something not supported here. So we see that repartition isn't supported here. And I can go ahead and click this toggle on that's going to show me those errors in line with my pipeline. So I can X out of here. I can scroll down and we see lightweight conversion compatibility checks, and we see repartition isn't supported. You know, repartition is a sort of Spark operation. It's something that is not necessary in the sort of lightweight world. So actually, in this case, we can just go ahead. I was taken straight to the error. I can go ahead and delete that now. Save that. I go back to my convert pipeline. I now get my green tick. I can convert it. Exactly the same process as we saw before, and then we will be able to go ahead and deploy that on lightweight.
Yeah. So here, you know, you mentioned we were using Data Fusion for kind of the back end of this because it's much more extensible for us. It has similar profiles to maybe like DuckDB as far as out of memory issues and be able to expand and allows us to integrate deeper into the product. But at the same time, lightweight transforms for like code repos, people can use DuckDB, Polars, whatever compute engine they want. So people really do have the optionality. I think the cool part here is I can literally author once, run in multiple different environments, or test out even what is the performance profile. Because I think, you know, I've talked to customers that have seen 10 minutes to 2 minutes. You know, I think we'll see what this one ends up being, but seeing that like I'm saving money and time at the same time, I think that is the big differentiator. Because, and I think that you can confirm this with me, is because I'm going from this distributed system to a single node, higher, you know, kind of resources on that single node, allows me to actually have more efficient operations instead of having these distributed operations. That actually is the key efficiency gain here.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you sort of touched upon there, I think it hugely depends on the kind of things that we're doing and the data scales that we're operating on. You know, don't get me wrong, there are still cases where Spark is going to win. If we have to go and operate on, you know, terabytes and terabytes of data, and if we're doing these really large shuffle joins, then Spark still wins. But it's in these other cases where, I mean, you can see in the example that we have over here, we're operating on a fair scale of data here, and we're doing so pretty competently in the sort of lightweight world. So it's really about knowing what your pipelines are doing, trying out lightweight. A lot of people have been very pleasantly surprised. We even internally have started processing our own internal logs pipelines using lightweight. You know, these are sort of aggregating those down is you know, involves reading terabytes of data, but because you're aggregating it down, you never have too much data on a single node, and we're able to do that. Okay, so you know, I think a lot of people will be pleasantly surprised by what we can do with lightweight.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. I think the ease of conversion, being able to test it and go back and forth too. I think, you know, well, let me go test it out. How does it work? Let me go back because it didn't do how I expected it. I think that's a huge plus here for that usability and the developer experience. Honestly, like for me, even if they ran at the same amount of time, but be able to preview things very quickly across my pipeline would be a huge win.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that end, if I'm continuing to develop my pipeline, and if I'm looking for something that we don't yet support in lightweight, then what we'll see here at the bottom is we see unsupported operations. And so you can see that there's a bunch of sort of geo capabilities that we haven't supported in lightweight yet. But what we're able to do then is just flick straight back to Spark, use the full capabilities that we have in the sort of Spark version of the world, and continue to develop without that really encumbering us too much.
Right. Yeah.
Which is,
and I think that's the important piece here too, is one part of a pipeline can be in lightweight, another can be in Spark. So you can actually orchestrate that through Foundry to basically have these pipelines that kind of stitched together that are of different compute engines depending on the need that I have to help reduce cost, increase performance, all of those kind of things. So you have that optionality as far as what that looks like.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. So the build's still running here.
We're still running. Let's see how we're getting on. 6 minutes. It's estimating 9 minutes, so that was what we had on the previous run. So that's the time to beat.
Oh, I see. The estimated is the previous one on Spark because they're okay. I see. Oh, converted. Okay, there we go.
It's just finished there. So that was 6 minutes 30 we had compared to the sort of 9 minutes before, and we were running on sort of half the resources there.
Half the memory, but a fourth the CPUs.
Right.
So a pretty big cost reduction there, but done faster with one button click.
Done faster with one button click. What's not to love?
Exactly. And I think that this is where we said the mileage will vary depending across the different type of workloads and whatnot. So we see some customers with much higher gains on performance. It just depends on the type of pipeline. But the idea here is, why would you not start with lightweight first and only convert to Spark when you need to?
Yeah, when you need to. Absolutely.
Well, thanks for taking the time to show me this. This is probably one of the more exciting things for me. Just have spent so much time in this space to be able to see I can author and now start to run on different backends with just one click.
Yeah, we're super excited to get this into the people's hands and see what kind of results they get. So yeah.
Thanks.
Awesome. Cheers.